Welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Olson. Spring is officially here in Michigan, and this week's show is full of fun springtime activities. Jordan and Gabe will take you down to Lake Erie for those big springtime walleyes. I'll take you out on the St. Joe River for some springtime fishing there, and Jimmy's got some other fun stuff in store for us this week too.
Well, that's right, Jenny. I am bringing you a story this week, and I'm actually going to sit down and visit with one of the largest taxidermy shops here in the state of Michigan and one of the largest tanneries, perhaps the largest tannery in the world, and they're all based in mid-Michigan. You won't want to miss that. Lots of good stuff on this week's show. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger. It's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors. Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Country Smokehouse, offering a variety of meat products. Country Smokehouse is located 3 miles south of I-69 on M53, just south of Imlay City. Country Smokehouse is a meat processor, a butcher, and a destination for sportsmen. By Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises of Munising, exploring Lake Superior's Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore with its sandstone cliffs, caves, waterfalls, and lighthouses. Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises on the web at picturedrocks.com. By Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or visit greenstonefcs.com. By Vanguard, a global manufacturer based in Michigan featuring rifle scopes, binoculars, and spotting scopes with lifetime warranties. Vanguard supplies sporting optics and accessories for the outdoor enthusiast, online at vanguardworld.com.
One of the advantages of having this job is to be able to fish with guys like Mark. I mean, you get to go on phenomenal fishermen's boats and learn a lot. So the learning curve in this job is awfully fun.
You know, we're fishing the Western Basin in the spring. We're middle of March. The fish are migrating towards the reefs. A lot of them are. You know, they say some of them move up the rivers. You got Sandusky, Maumee, Detroit, and then a lot of them spawn out here in the main lake reefs. So right now we're fishing pre-spawned fish that are staging, getting ready to move up on the reefs when they get ready to spawn. This time of the year, you know, if you find I'm running around with the, you know, Lowrance looking for fish. You know, on a nice day like we had today, you just, if you got your electronics set right, you can run about 30, 35 mile an hour and cover a lot of water. When you start marking fish, usually you turn around on them and you can catch them. And this time of the year, stick baits like, you know, use husky jerks and reef runners. We're out here today on Lake Erie, and it's middle of March. A little foggy today. Chasing some walleyes. We're just trying to figure them out, and finally kept playing with leader links and finally dropped one back 80 and got one here on a reef runner. Got it to the board. Man,
That thing's just pounding.
3-pounder.
Oh,
nice fish.
Nice fish.
Nice fish, Mark.
That's a big female there.
Well, we're out here on Lake Erie. I'm with two guys who know a lot more about walleye fishing than I do. It's not necessarily a numbers game today. We're trying to get some big fish, so hopefully we can find a couple more. I'm hoping to maybe get my first 10-pounder. That's a lofty goal, but we'll see. I'm just happy to be out fishing, and hopefully we keep catching fish. Well, we just moved spots, and we already hooked up on a fish. The graph has been crazy. There's fish all over it. So hopefully, ooh, this is feeling better. Hopefully we found the spot.
Oh, we got a double. Look at that, outside board's going back. Oh man.
Dive back there.
All right, that's what it's supposed to be like. Oh yeah.
That one buried back there.
That was a good one.
Pretty solid.
Well, we, you know, where we started out was real foggy. I didn't want to venture out real far, but now we went out and drove around a little while, marked a bunch of fish, and sit down, and here we go. We haven't just got the board set up. Oh, look at that one. Come on, easy. Yeah, I shouldn't have let him see it. He might choke.
All right.
Here, take that one.
Okay.
Take this one.
Unbelievable. This is what we were hoping it would be like. I think we just found the spot.
When they actually move into spawn, they're there for a pretty short period of time. You know, they're not in there more than a day at the most. And then once they're done spawning, the males will stay there, but the females pretty much pull off and they'll start looking for forage then. You know, and depending on the year, how warm it is, where the bait are, is depending on how far away from the reefs they start moving. You know, some of them, they travel the whole length of the lake, so some of them will start heading back east to look for the smelt. Some of them will stay around here and feed on the shiners and shad.
There's very few places in the world you can catch walleye like this, and I hate to say that it's not a smaller one, but they get a lot bigger out here. I mean, this is just unbelievable. Look at the size of that fish.
It's Lake Erie. Here it is, middle March. You know, last year we was out here ice fishing. Now today we're out here in the open water. It's an awesome fishery. Oh, look at that. The other one's going back.
Fight's pretty darn good. At about 75 feet still. Staying right down.
The whole key to trolling is just keeping a constant bend in the rod. Just keep it steady pressure, because a lot of times these fish, they come up, they might not get a real good hook set. So if you just keep good steady pressure, that's the whole key to trolling. You know, just putting the bend in the rod and keeping the same bend in the rod the whole way in. Yeah, don't pump and reel. You just want to keep steady pressure.
Just another great fish. Well, I'm not footing a taxidermy bill yet, but we're getting close. Incredible. We can't even keep all the lines in the water.
Well, Mark's got us into him now. It's been pretty much non-stop now since we moved. He's coming up right here.
Beautiful fish today. We've caught some good eaters, got a good mix. This one feels a little heavier than the last couple we've caught. We'll have to wait and see. Well, that is officially our limit here on Lake Erie. We got a 3-man limit, which is 4 a person right now this time of year. Caught some great fish, caught some good eaters. Really just an incredible day. Can't beat it.
Well, we as Michiganders are pretty lucky. We have some great taxidermy shops really scattered all over the state of Michigan. Well, I was recently at one of the largest wildlife gallery in mid-Michigan. They are a great big taxidermy shop, but I had no idea that they were one of the largest tanneries, if not the largest tannery in the world. Not far from Mount Pleasant, Michigan, is the little town of Blanchard that houses one of the biggest taxidermy shops we have here in Michigan, the Wildlife Gallery. Now, I had heard about these guys before, but had no idea just how big they were. I was really excited to get the tour from Dan Catlin.
Well, Jimmy, this is the Wildlife Gallery Taxidermy Studio, and this is where the real work begins. These are the artists that actually take the forms and the skins that our tannery produces and develops that memory that the hunter has in the field. So it really is a pretty amazing process what they do here to take a generic form and turn it into something that's beautiful and lifelike. So.
Okay, so walk me through what's going on here with this?
Well, right here, Kevin Eberhardt, obviously, he's one of our taxidermists, our artists here, and he's working on a leopard. Obviously, this leopard was shot in Africa, in one of the many countries in Africa that leopards are legal to hunt and legal to bring back to the United States. And you know, this is a special project. You know, our guys take this stuff real seriously. A hunter has a huge investment into a trophy like this, and we want them to have something they're very proud of, and we know that everything that we produce and put out here has our name on it. So Kevin takes this stuff real seriously.
Now, how important is kind of the eyes and the mouth on a mount like this?
Well, I would say with any mount, especially a cat mount, that the eyes are the soul of the animal. And certainly that mouth, he's going to get it all tucked up correctly and make it look lifelike. But then after the drying process, the finish guys are going to wet it up and they're going to make it, they're going to do the finishing touches. But really, the guys here like Kevin and the other guys that do these type mounts, they're the key to this. Because if it's not mounted correctly, it doesn't matter how you finish the mount, it's not going to look alive. And our goal is to make it look alive and lifelike.
With several taxidermists on the job at any given time, it was great to see that they really work as a team.
Brandon's been with us since high school. Brandon Baldwin's a pretty special young man in our shop here. He's kind of shy and unassuming, doesn't say a whole lot, but he is definitely a talented young man that started working with the Wildlife Gallery in high school. And gosh, he's been here 8 years now. And he is one of our cat specialists. One of the toughest animals to mount is a cat. Lions, leopards, mountain lions, but they gave him a day off and he's working on a Thompson's gazelle from Africa. So
now, what makes the cats hard to work on?
I think the cats are so hard to work on because to capture the face of a cat is probably the most difficult thing to do. It's just really tough. When I was doing taxidermy, I'll be honest, I never was able to capture that look, that haunting look a cat has. It really is an art. It really is a talent to be able to see it and capture it in your work. And Brandon's one of the guys that can do it.
Going from room to room and seeing some of the finished products, I couldn't help but be more and more impressed. The quality of the work and the amount of work that comes out of here is something to see. There is a lot of attention paid to details here.
When the trophy gets here, the animal gets here, it's now in the dry stage, and these artists here work on doing all the finish work, grooming it, fixing any of the shrinkage, repairing any of the problemed areas on the mount, and then they add paint back to it.
So where are we at stage of this guy here?
So,
what happens next?
Yeah, so this Cape Buffalo is all dried out and they've added the bosses back on him. So they put epoxy sculpt, a 2-part epoxy in there to add the boss, which was shrunk up from when it's being cleaned up. Okay. And then they add the shrinkage around the eyes. They put a material in there to add the eyelids so the eyelids are correct. And then these white dots on the nose, these are actually places of the nose nodule that they're rebuilding and building up. Wow. So then this will turn clear and glossy, and then when they gloss over it, it will make the lip or the nose and then the lip down here look wet again.
Okay. And then is there a lot of painting involved in this?
Yeah, as you can see, these Cape Buffaloes, these African species, they are pretty much painted. The whole animal has to be painted, the whole mount, because there's not a lot of hair. There's not a lot of hair that covers. You can see there's hair, but it's spotty all over. In Africa, the animals don't need a lot of hair to keep them warm, like they do in North America or other regions of the world. So these Cape Buffaloes are old, scarred up Duggaboys, they're called.
It all seemed pretty overwhelming, but the way this place got started was equally impressive. Like most taxidermy shops, it started in a barn.
Wildlife Gallery started 21 years ago. Brad Eldred, he's the founder, the president, the CEO of this company. He really started this business right next door. He had a house and a barn there. He started in the barn, and I love to tell the story that he started out with a 55-gallon drum of tanning solution and a canoe paddle to stir that drum as he's tanning up skins. And that really started the tannery, but he was also doing taxidermy as well. So he was mounting deer heads in the middle of the night. It's quite a Michigan business success story, the Wildlife Gallery. We're a company of 130 employees, 130 families that we take care of. That's why I look at it. We're a team. We really are a team. I mean, I'm blessed to be the face and the marketing person for the company, but could not do what I do and travel around the world and talk to all these great hunters and clients if it wasn't for all of the team behind me that takes care of business on a day-to-day basis.
It really did feel like a team approach here. And as I got the tour of the facility, one thing I didn't really ever give much thought to is the work that goes into the bases for these mounts.
You know, I always tell people that you can take an average mount and make it look really good if you put the right environment and base under it. You can take a great mount and put a crappy environment and base under it, and that great mount doesn't look great anymore. So it really is a team effort. It really is a compilation of everything in this art. It's not just the mount, but if you don't have the mount, you have nothing. So that's the basis, but this is really important.
Talk about really important. About 15 minutes down the road, we were now at the tannery of the Wildlife Gallery, one of the largest in the world.
Well, we're now at the Wildlife Gallery Tannery, which is the backbone of our business. It's, as I said before, a tan skin is the engine builders for the taxidermist. So you got to have a good skin, something that's a quality tan and a quality product to make a quality looking mount. And it all starts right here at the Wildlife Gallery Receiving. These shipments come from anywhere in the United States. We also have a depot in Alaska where we have shipments come in from Alaska during the hunting seasons up there, but also all the international shipments from Africa, Asia, anywhere in the country that people are sending stuff in. New Zealand, this is where it ends up in this facility right here. Well, the first thing we have to do is identify each piece individually so it can be tracked and located at any time when a client calls for it. So that requires going through and inventorying what came in and punching a identification number in each skin individually.
The tannery here in Mount Pleasant is huge, and just this past year, the Wildlife Gallery tanned about 60,000 hides, servicing taxidermists from all over the world. I had no idea the scope of the Wildlife Gallery. It was great to see a Michigan company doing so well and working as a team to support the outdoor lifestyle we all hold so dear.
In this next story, we are going to head down to the southwest corner of the Lower Peninsula to the town of St. Joe, where we headed out on the river when some of the last ice was just leaving the big lake. A couple of weekends ago at the Ultimate Sport Show in Grand Rapids, I found Captain Kyle Ender from Captain Hook's Charters. I was looking to do some open water fishing in this very early season and had heard that Captain Kyle's home port of St. Joseph might have some promise. Kyle is a third-generation angler in a family of charter captains. He and his family operate a fleet of boats in St. Joe and offer river and big water trips for salmon, steelhead, brown trout, walleye, and perch party trips. So, against his better judgment, Kyle let me talk him into leaving the sport show and taking a trip out to the mouth of the St. Joe River to see if we might be able to get out on Lake Michigan here in the southwest corner of the state. Are we ready or what?
Absolutely. Welcome to Captain Hook Charters. Arr!
All right, I see a couple other boats out there, so we're not the only crazy ones today, hey?
Oh no, we won't be the only ones out there.
Joining Captain Kyle today were his three crewmates, Scott Woods, Lori Mizwicki, and Taylor Pearson. These folks have a lot of fun out here, but work hard to put fish in the boat at the same time. Kyle says that can make a big difference in the success of a charter business.
These guys have been with me for many years, and I think it's credit to them for Captain Hook Charter's success, because you really need a good crew, loyal crew that shows up every day, that is very dependable, and that's good with customers. And I'm fortunate, Captain Hook Charters is fortunate to have a family-run business that has loyal people like Taylor, Lori, and Scott. What I'm doing is I'm going to go find the cleanest water possible. And I really think that that's our best opportunity to catch fish today. It's kind of like, to use an analogy, it's kind of like if you have a fish bowl and the fish tank is really dirty. The fish will go towards the aerator because it's the cleanest water, and that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to go find that cleanest water, and I think hopefully we can catch some fish. But that's what my reasoning is behind taking us out to this ice cold Lake Michigan.
And ice cold it was. We set up just outside the pier heads here at the mouth of the river amidst a bunch of icebergs that were threatening to get in the way. Got him that time, hey?
Yeah.
Well, the icebergs finally won out and chased us back into the safety of the river. It wasn't ideal, but the crew made it work, and Scott hooked into the first fish of the day. Yeah, right in the tail.
Yeah, coho.
So you did get him in the mouth, but he just, one of the hooks is in the tail too?
This is,
Make sure you show me that before you unhook
this is
it.
the Yakima Corky. Yakima Corky.
Cool, let me see that.
Heck yeah.
Oh yeah, he's hooked in the mouth. When he was coming in, it looked like something hit him. Oh,
Tail.
See that?
good job, guys.
All right.
Lake Michigan coho.
Beautiful.
It's one of the best eating salmon on the lake.
Yeah.
For sure.
Good job. All right.
Put more fish in the box. That's the name of the game. Is when you're out here, you know, and the conditions might not be perfect. You might get a crazy lady calling you on the phone and asking you to take her fishing, you know, a couple days ahead of time, even though when like you fish like the past 2 days and never had a bite.
And there's still ice out.
And there's still ice out of water. Well, we want to do an open water TV segment. Okay, let's do it. You know, a fisherman's not going to back down from a challenge, so that's what we did today.
You stepped up to the challenge,
We
man.
ended up putting a game plan together.
Good job. Right in the middle of the interview.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
You know,
Yeah,
these
let's see what
guys
you got him on.
biting and, you know, aggressive. Just looks like skein. Nice, yummy coho salmon. And these guys are going to get more aggressive as it heats up into April.
Lori was up with the next fish on. If she looks familiar, it's because she's not only a great fisherwoman, but an accomplished bow hunter who's been on our big buck night before. Lori loves the outdoors, and it shows. The fishing was definitely picking up in the midday here.
Woohoo! Good job!
We got another coho? Whoop whoop!
Textbook, ladies and gentlemen.
Boy, that's a gorgeous one. Nice job. We got the hook set and everything.
We did it.
Sweet.
One more.
So many, I gotta catch one eventually.
That's a jinx.
Ooh, there it is. Let me get on this side of you. Can I?
All right.
Nice.
Another one.
Woohoo! You did it!
Finally.
Cool.
It's on another corky.
Another pretty green coho.
Yeah,
Look at the
they're
backs
pretty.
on those things.
Turquoise
See
is
that?
so pretty.
Wow. That's gorgeous.
Getting more aggressive, it's getting warmer.
Huh. The next fish Taylor connected with was a little bigger and was giving everyone a run for their money. They scrambled to keep the lines from getting tangled up as Taylor worked this fish towards the boat.
Big steel, brown trout.
Oh, he's beautiful. Woo!
Oh, nice brown trout. Good job, Taylor.
Yes.
Pretty fish.
Nice job.
Hey, way to go, buddy. Congratulations.
First brown of the year.
Oh, those fish are so pretty. Good job. That was a team effort.
Yeah, good job, guys. Good job, Lori. Way to move some rods. You know, it was a little bit challenging to be able to come out here and put a game plan that put fish in the box, but when you do this every day for a living, that's the name of the game is no matter what, you have to put fish in the box. And for my entire life, being I'm a third generation captain, my entire life I've learned some of the best tricks of the trade by some of the best professionals in our industry, and I apply that. That's a good way to end the day. Let's go ahead and bring bring him in.
Are you supposed to be at a trade show or something?
I'm supposed to be in Grand Rapids till I got a call from a crazy lady. What are my pliers?
Captain Kyle and his crew came through. Faced with the challenge of less than optimal conditions and producing fish for the camera, Captain Hook Charters stepped up and delivered. We had plenty of laughs, caught some beautiful fish for dinner, and dodged the icebergs of early spring in Lake Michigan. This is a trip I'll definitely never forget. Thanks for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. Make sure you check us out online next time you get a chance. You can do it a couple of different ways: on our website at michiganoutofdoorstv.com or on our Facebook page at Michigan Out of Doors TV. We're on our Facebook page every few days letting you know where we are and where we're headed next. And we do have a lot of stuff headed your way this spring. Before we even get into the turkey season, we'll have Big Buck Night. We'll also take you up to Torch Lake for some fishing there. I'll take you on a slingshot tournament and out on a crow hunt. Lots of fun stuff headed your way.
Well, that's right. Jenny did mention we do have our 2 Big Buck Nights, and actually they're going to air the first couple of weeks in April. First week of April will be Big Buck Night East. Second week will be Big Buck Night West. You won't want to miss it. Lots of big deer and lots of big stories as well. Thanks for joining us this week, and if we don't see you in the woods or on the water, hopefully we'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by the Michigan chapters of Safari Club International. For over 40 years, SCI has been protecting hunters' rights and promoting wildlife conservation here in Michigan and around the world. SCI chapter locations can be found on the web at firstformichigan.org. By Showspan, producing consumer shows that include the Ultimate Sports Show in Grand Rapids. Over 350 exhibitors, outdoor gear, boats, seminars, Lake Ultimate, and Big Buck Night. The Ultimate Sports Show at the DeVos Place in Grand Rapids. Closed captioning is provided by Marvo Mineral, makers of Lucky Buck. Deer management products including minerals to supplement deer diets year-round to improve health and antler growth.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden